something, like we need to learn a method that we can use all the time, right? And that's the quadratic formula. So like normally, you know how our quadratic equations, they have something with x squared plus something with x plus something else, and it's equal to 0, right? So they look like that normally, right? So the a, b, and c will come into play when we use our quadratic formula, right? That's why I wrote them there. So a will always be what's in front of x squared. B is always what's in front of x. C is always the number without a variable, right? So like in this equation, right, in this equation, A is 2, right? B is 7, and C is 5. Right, so looking at that equation, could we factor it? Are there any factors of 10? Well, yes. That would give us 7. That's a terrible example. That's okay. So we could factor it, right? But let's not. Right? So the quadratic formula. This is going to be the one thing I will ever ask you to memorize because it's important. If you look it up on YouTube, there are ridiculous songs that go with it. So if you're a song person, it will help you remember it.
Wait, we have to remember it?
Yes. Because especially if you're planning on continuing in any kind of higher math, we'll use it a lot. It comes in handy. Especially on the ACT, SAT, like you might need to know it. So, like I said, this is the one formula I will actually make you memorize. Like ever. So, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. It seems intimidating at first, but I promise you once you do it enough, it's going to stick in your brain like glue. So again, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. That bottom part is important. It's still part of it.
So wait, so you would take...
So now that we have that formula, we're just going to take a, b, and c and plug them in and get a number.
Oh, I remember this.
Yep. Yeah, so we're just going to take those and plug them in and get a number. I'm going to shrink that a little bit. Can everybody still see that or got it down enough? Especially my back row there. You guys good, or do you need it bigger for a second? Okay. Do you need it bigger, Sam Lakin? For a second? Okay. All right, so A is 2, right? B is 7. C is 5. So in this formula, so negative b, so negative 7. So if your b is already negative, you change it to positive. That just means to change the sign of b, the beginning, right? So it's negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 5. And then we will divide all of that by 2 times 2, right? Because a is 2. Okay. I'm going to shift it over because I don't ever give myself enough room. No, it's not going to work now. Sorry, I don't know what those lines are. I was trying to make room. All right. So now, right, I'm going to kind of like, I really set this up terribly. That's all right. So 7 squared is what? 7 times 7.
49.
Right, and then 4 times 2 is 8 times 5 is 40.
Not bigger. It's 49 and what's that?
40. 40. Because that's 4 times 2 times 5. And then all of that will get divided by 4. All right, so then we're going to do 49 minus 40, which is 9. All right, what's our square root of 9? 3. Sorry.
I'm confused. Where's 9 come from?
49. All right, so the 9, so I did 49 minus 40 to get 9. All right, and then I took the square root of 9. Oh, what did I do? Wrong thing. Took the square root of 9 to get this 3. All right, is everybody with me so far?
No. I'm not. No. Okay, I'm confused. How did you get 9?
Okay, so I did 7 squared and got 49 up here. Right? Let's go back. I did 7 squared
Okay.
and got 49 because 7 times.
Yeah.
Then I did 4 times 2 times 5,
Which is 4.
which is 40.
Yeah.
And then 49 minus 40 is 9.
Okay.
And then the square root of 9 is 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Sorry.
That's all right. So now, right, remember, quadratic equations have to have how many solutions? 2. How are we going to get 2?
Plus or minus.
We've got that plus or minus there, right? So we need to then kind of split it up and get our 2 answers. So we have to do negative 7 plus 3 divided by 4. And we have to do negative 7 minus 3 divided by 4. Again, we are doing the plus or the minus, right? So those will give us our 2 answers. So the first one, you get negative 1. Right, so that, again, negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4, which is 1. I am all over the place today, guys, sorry. And then on this one, you get negative 10 over 4, which we can reduce, right, to get negative 5 over 2.
I'm confused.
All right, make sure you're watching more than you're writing right now. Okay, so again, we have a plus or minus here, right? So that means we have to do negative 7 plus 3, which is what I did here. And then I have to do negative 7 minus 3, which is what I did here. And then so I'm doing negative 7 plus 3, which is negative 4. And then divide that by that 4. Get my negative 1.
And then just the same.
And then the same over here. Oh, jeez. So then I did negative 7 minus 3, got negative 10 over 4. And then simplified it to negative 5 over 2.
Can I write this down real quick?
Yes. All right, let's do another one. All right. So let's say we have 18x squared minus 27x minus 3 equals 0. All right, so just like factoring, these also have to be equal to 0 before you start. So sometimes you might have to rearrange like we did before. Okay? Okay, so A is what? B is negative 27. Keep those signs with it. Right? C is negative 3. So, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a.
Do we have to write that part down when we solve it?
I would, that way you know where you're plugging stuff in. All right, once you get the hang of it, I'm okay if you drop that step, but for right now, make sure you're writing it down so you can make sure you're plugging the right stuff in the right place. All right, so now let's plug. So negative b. So b is negative already, right? It's negative 27. So at the front, that's going to become a positive 27. All right, plus or minus the square root of negative 27 squared minus 4 times a, which is 18, times c, which is negative 3. And then all of that divided by 2a. So 27 plus or minus. I'm going to square that 27 and get 729 minus, so I'm going to do 4 times 18 times negative 3. So we're subtracting negative 216, which means technically we're adding 216, right? Oh, I should have, sorry, that should be an 18 because we already plugged in. All right, which over 36. So 729 plus 216 is 945. 27 plus or minus. So, can we take the square root of 945 evenly? No. So, for my non-honors people, you can leave it right here.
So that would just be the whole.
My honors people, I would like you to reduce that square root and simplify.
What is that?
Like do the factor tree with the 945. Break it down. Right? Because y'all need to know how to simplify square roots. Right, so what are some factors of 945? Let's do green. Alright, yeah, but that's a pain in the butt, so.
2 doesn't go anywhere.
It ends in 5. So we can go 5 and 189. 9, 10, 18. So 189 we can divide by 3. And then we can get 3. Right. Wait, why?
Why don't you do 7 and 9?
Yeah, that's what I don't know. So then 7 and 9. Oops. And then 9 can go 3 and 3. So we can put a 3 outside. And then we multiply 5, 3, and 7 back together.
Wait,
What?
whenever you find the group goes on the outside?
Yes. Yeah, group goes on the outside. And then 35 times 3, I think 105, right? Yep. So it is actually 3 square root of 105. Okay, so now we can divide, we can like pull out a common factor of 3 from all of these, right? So I can do like, I can get rid of the 3 here. I can do 27 divided by 3. I can do 36 divided by 3 to like simplify our fraction. Okay, so that gives us 9 plus or minus the square root of 105 over 12.
What? Wait.
Yeah, so like if they all have something in common, like not in the square root, we ignore that. So like 3, 27, and 36 are all divisible by 3. So just like divide it out. So all 3 of those numbers, like if you have something outside the square root, the front part in front of the plus or minus and the bottom all have to be divisible to cancel it out. This is as far as you can go. I mean, you could get the decimals, but you can leave it like this. And since it's got that plus or minus in there, that counts as your 2. All right.
This doesn't seem that hard.
It's really not that bad.
Easy.
So, how are we feeling?
Okay.
Okay with it?
Yeah. Great.
All right. All right. We only have 5 minutes left. We'll just call it a day. Happy end of quarter 1. No homework this weekend. You're welcome.